I got a lot of homework done, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm doing AP chemistry studying. Woot woot. It's very fun.
Isn't your test coming up in another less than month?
Less than week.
Less than a week.
Wow.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that, Isabel. That can't be an easy one.
How many
It's-
are you
You don't need
taking?
luck, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just hard this year because like for chemistry and APUSH, we were running behind on the curriculum, so we're learning from YouTube videos, like 2 whole units. So it's a little crazy, but we'll get through it.
Are you taking?
After 2 weeks from now, we'll be done with AP Lang, and then like all the juniors will be done with AP tests, and then it'll be like smooth sailing, hopefully, I imagine.
Isabel and Eric, don't forget that we are still live streaming on YouTube, so don't give away any secrets you wouldn't want to reveal to YouTube.
Hey, Eric, congratulations to you. I think you did something. Was it hockey related?
No, I did get a scholarship though. I don't know if that's been announced yet.
I did hear about something you did. Was it? Oh, I can't remember, but I know that I saw your name in something. Was it a scholarship or was it a
Person of the
volunteer?
Week in
It's in
the
the
Oh,
paper.
wait.
You got an award.
Oh yeah, the student of the month. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, okay. Yes. Well,
Yeah, thank you.
well deserved.
Congratulations.
Got to go down your list. Which one is she talking about?
I know that you had a great hockey season, but I don't know if it was this year. But there was something for hockey as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, I got second team for SEC
Good for
for
you.
D2. Yeah, it was
Congratulations.
an exciting hockey season. Never
Yeah,
knowing what's going to happen next.
we're very proud of you.
Didn't you guys spend a majority of it like in quarantine?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, today was my first sailing practice. I got to do 2 at the beginning of the season, and then we all got quarantined, and then we've just started again. So it's been nice.
Good luck. Hope your season goes long.
Galen, I think technically, even if everyone's not here, we are in meeting.
Okay, good. Thanks. All the best conversation happens, informally. So that's great. Well, so we do have all our board members here, I believe. And we have Mike Ginsburg and maybe some other teachers who
Yes, there's Leslie Lopez and Drew Saletti are also here.
All right. Good. Okay.
Should they be promoted over, Dr. Cook?
Yes, please. Wendy, could you? Yeah, thank you.
There we go. All right. Well, good to see everybody back. Thank you for your patience. And we will jump right into public participation, and I'll let our secretary, Emily Rosenthal, take that.
Thank you, Galen. So the board does welcome and appreciate comments from the public at our regular meetings. We also willingly take comments via email to board members, via the Contact the Board page on our district website, or like this evening via public comment. If we do have members of the public who would like to speak, we just ask that you, when you speak, you please state your name and your address. We do limit public comments to 3 minutes, and we will be keeping track. Please speak on one topic, and it should not be expected that the board will respond, as this is a business meeting, but we will do our best to follow up and contact you after the meeting if you prefer. So Wendy, do we have any members of the public who'd like to speak this evening?
We actually do not.
Okay. End of public comment then.
Okay, thank you. Next up is our Board of Education Student Representative Report. And Isabel, why don't you start, and then we'll turn it over to Eric.
Sure, we'll be quick because I know you guys are having a late night already. So junior prom's on May 14th. Tickets are already on sale on Infinite Campus. It will be outside in a tent, and we're all looking forward to it. It'll be fun. Tomorrow is the NGSS, the Next Generation Science Standards for all juniors. Exciting. AP tests start next week, and they'll be going on the next 2 weeks after that. And those are all going to be in person. So some other schools are opting for a digital option, but we're choosing to do all paper. Mr. Bodner and Mrs. Hart are working on a freshman orientation plan, and that should be coming out within a week or so, from what I've heard. And that'll be really nice because it's really important that they get the incoming freshmen get to see the school and kind of get an idea of what their first year of high school is going to be before the year ends. And grades 9, 10, and 11 will have trimester 3 exams the same way we did for trimester 2, which was teachers only give an exam if they need to have an exam, but they still have the 2-hour exam block. So that was great for second trimester, and we're looking forward to it again. Off to Eric.
Yeah, thank you, Isabel. So this past Friday, all the seniors were packed into the gym with social distancing and under 15 minutes, so we didn't have to contact trace or anything, but it was the kind of big senior meeting that usually happens every year, talking about the end of the year festivities, everything from a new event on May 3rd, which is Future Plans Day, where we get to all show off where we're going to college or what we're going to do next year and take a photo outside with all of our swag from the schools or places. 2 different dates being confirmed for Spirit Days, picnics, senior awards, yearbooks, senior prom, which is going to be at Anthony's Ocean View, not cohorted, so it's going to be everyone. That was a recent change. And also that graduation is going to be on June 11th. So I know everyone likes to know that date early. I know moment we heard, we called my grandparents. We're like, this is when it is. Book the tickets for the plane, so that they can come down. Spring sports, they are in full swing. I know I've said that a lot, but they actually are for once. There's no one quarantined that or currently that for the athletics, no teams are shut down. Everyone's going to get to play a full season of their athletics, which is great. Also, because of that, after school, the campus is like bustling. There's people all over the place, kind of like nothing ever happened. It's great to kind of see that normality coming slowly over time. And everyone there is excited that Wellness Wednesday will be starting back up next week. We heard a lot of chatter about people being like, oh, we haven't had it a couple of weeks. Where is it? And we were like, don't worry, it's coming back next week. And I know everyone's liking that little break in the day to kind of recoup for the week and kind of prepare for the rest of the week.
All right, thank you. And again, I'd like to congratulate you again, Eric, on the Madison Exchange Student of the Month award. That was great. And also for the hockey award. That's tremendous.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is the superintendent's report, and Dr. Cook has got the floor.
Thank you. Yes, I'll try and be brief. Next week, the week of May 3rd will be Teacher Appreciation Week in Madison Public Schools. This has certainly been a unique time to be a teacher, and we certainly have asked a lot of our teachers here in Madison, and they've risen to the occasion and really exceeded all expectations. In my opinion, they've collectively worked hard to teach our students on so many platforms, in person, remote, and then both at the same time, which is really probably the biggest challenge. And so I have been so impressed with our teachers as I've been able to be in their classrooms and met them throughout, the dedication they have to Madison students. I'm also very impressed with our PTOs and how appreciative they are and what they do for our teachers. I know they have some fun recognitions planned for our staff, and we do from central office as well. So we've been working on that. But I thought it'd be a great opportunity to ask Mr. Ginsburg join us with a few of his members, and I know Chairman Colley has a few words to say as well. So.
Yep. Thank you. I'd absolutely like to second that. We have the best teachers. They treat our students with extraordinary care, dedication. I think the last year has borne that out. And our teachers are carefully selected. You know, we have a very good community, and we're just so appreciative of everything you do, because teachers are force multipliers. You know, you affect the lives of dozens, if not hundreds of kids, you know, throughout a 4-year tenure and beyond. So thank you very much, particularly this last year.
And I know Mr. Ginsburg would like to say a few words as well.
I just like to say thank you very much. We really appreciate the support that's come from everybody. Just from the beginning, I work very closely with Gail, and really appreciate all the work she does. It's incredible how hard she works. So we really appreciate everything she's done for us, along with Sheila and Ching, also at central office. I don't think they get enough recognition for all that they do for this district. They're incredible. And also for the board in hiring Dr. Cook. I really have really enjoyed working with him, and he's been very supportive of the teachers as well. And we just really appreciate everything, because it has been a tremendously challenging year, as Dr. Cook was saying. So we do appreciate all the support, and just thank you to everybody.
No.
And Drew and Leslie, thank you so much for joining us, and appreciate you sticking with us for a lengthy break there. And you know, it's amazing what you do on each and every day, and we thank you every day of the year, not just next week. All right, so we have returned from spring break. We did have some concerns with travel and what might be the week after break, and then thereafter. It really has been similar to what we were seeing just before. We've had some cases, but we have had limited amounts of quarantine based on that. So, you know, we feel we've made it through a stretch that could have been difficult. You know, Madison numbers continue to be relatively in a good place, not where we'd like them to be, but they're trending in a positive way in terms of cases decreasing. So we're very pleased about that. We did have to cancel Finance Committee meeting tonight. And although preliminarily we were prepared to share with the committee that things were trending in a better way financially, and that we are still trending, you know, to finish the year in a small positive area. The food service losses have decreased some with all our students in, and we will then plan to hold May 25th as a date for a Finance Committee meeting. Wanted to share with the board first, the May 18th referendum presents some challenges for us as the town votes on the town and board budget. The town is asked to use Polson again. I think that is the only option really for us. So Polson and Brown would have voters in the building. I think staying consistent with how we have been as a district, that with adults visiting the building, I think we are going to need to go fully remote as a whole district that day, also because of parking concerns. And so if you go to Hand or Polson anytime during the day, there is basically no parking, because we have you know, allowed our juniors to park this year, which was a good decision. It really has been, but really there's not an opportunity to hold the referendum there. So we would use a distance learning day on May 18th. We will communicate that out with to the public on that. And my last item we had was AP text, and so I'm going to turn it over to Gail. It was something we ran out of time at the curriculum meeting, so Gail's going to share some information on that with the board.
Thank you, Dr. Cook. And thank you all. I'll try to be really brief. You should have a textbook adoption request form in your board packets. This is for Campbell's AP Biology edition number 9. It is the same text that we have been using, but a newer edition. However, AP gives us a limited list of texts that we can use to teach AP. And periodically we have to update that text in order to be in compliance with AP. So our review process is that we have special ed and regular ed teachers review the text. We have students take a look at the text as well. Sometimes we have the text out for public review at the high school and public comment, although with the current conditions, we weren't able to do that. But essentially the textbook adoption that you have in front of you really highlights some of the attributes that the students were seeking. They were seeking some additional online resources, some additional help with preparing for the AP exam, and also some more diagrams and some more labs available to them, which all of those components are highlighted in this text. So it is on your agenda for adoption. However, you certainly can move that adoption off to the next meeting if you so desire. And I can certainly get whatever information that you're looking for in addition to what's in front of you. The total cost for this adoption would be $8,062.
Yeah, I have a quick question. It says that 2 students evaluated the book. How were the students chosen?
They're just invited by the teachers, generally speaking, and they raise their hand and say that they'd be happy to review the books.
I also have a question. Does it come in a digital format or an alternative to just reading a text?
Yes, this one comes with an interactive online platform called Mastering Biology. And it also provides a screen reader with highlighting capability.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, thank you, Gail. And then the last item I had was a building project update. I don't have much to share other than we continue to investigate the land purchase and work with Colliers on education specs. And so there'll be more to follow shortly. That completes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Cook. At this time, do any board members have any comments or questions? All right, hearing none. We will also need to skip the Board of Selectmen liaison. Scott Murphy is unavailable tonight. We can move to the consent agenda, which I don't think we have anything.
Galen, audience response.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Audience response. Thank you. All right. All right. Thank you. I do not see anything on the consent agenda in our packet. So we'll move to item 10 on the agenda, board committees report. First up is Dr. Infantine Weiss. Diane, did I get it right? Thank you.
You did.
Thank you. I've been practicing for curriculum. All right.
All right, I'm going to read really fast. Curriculum and student development met on April 20th. The first item on the agenda was the Go Formative use in classrooms and departments. Heather Person presented on the Go Formative program use at Daniel Hand, and Pamela Kendrick presented on its use at Polson. Applications such as pre-assessments, entrance and exit slips, checks, PBAs, and transfer tasks, and examples were given and discussed. Pros, such as the ability to assign unlimited attempts, unlimited time, to hide student names, tagging standards, creating open-ended tasks, ability for students to show their work, data use for universal screenings and benchmarks, and the ability to compare data across students and teachers, as well as the cons, such as the need to carefully craft questions and answers to reduce cheating and to reduce false wrong answers if they didn't match exactly, and the fact that they cannot paragraph, and it was difficult to apply in ELA and social studies and not quite as user-friendly as Google Docs. All of these were discussed. The overall Go Formative is best used at Polson and Hand, with some application at Brown. Go Formative will be continued to use next year at these levels. Then the second item was the math, middle school and high school ongoing material study. Had the person review the math curriculum timeline, starting with Bridges in Mathematics implementation and the K-12 math curriculum writing that occurred in 2013-2014 through the current spring of 2021. A committee was formed to find the best math materials and program. They compared illustrative math, mathematics vision project, CT state curriculum, and traditional textbook, and illustrative math was chosen. It is currently being used by several local districts, and illustrative math was described, moving away from the I do, we do, you do type of teaching to a problem-based math curriculum where students spend more time actually doing math in class and building true understanding in math. That week, professional development was given by Lindsay Ramos from CREC, and illustrative math will be implemented for the school year 2021 to 22 in grades 6 and 7 math and grade 8 pre-algebra. And then in school year 2022 to 23, it will be used in grade 7 pre-algebra and grade 8 algebra. Use in the high school is still being evaluated. And then the third item was data teams and student support team trends and approaches. Principals Frank Henderson and Catherine Hart presented on the data teams in grades 4 to 8. Data teams, student support teams, assessments like the SBAC, Easy CBM, universal screens, interim assessment blocks, and curriculum-based assessments were all reviewed and discussed. Focus areas, grade 6 math, grade 7 ELA, and in the high needs subgroup, special education, ELL, and students who qualify for free and reduced lunches, and the tiered intervention were discussed and examples were given. It was noted that trends for the school year of 2020 to 2021 at Brown and Polson were in line with the previous school year with regards to interventions given in math and LA. Social emotional support needs at Brown were also in line with the previous year, while needs at Polson have increased. Changes and adjustments were made this year to benefit all student groups. Student performance trends will continue to be monitored, and approaches to instruction and assessment will continue to be fine-tuned. End of report.
Thank you very much. It was a jam-packed curriculum meeting that we had, and there were good presentation materials. Does anyone have any questions or comments or would like to discuss anything further from the report?
I would be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Moving on to communications with Dr. Pellegrino.
Communications has not met, nothing to report.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Facilities with our secretary, Emily.
Yes. So I do have a report for you. The Facilities Committee met via Zoom on April 20th. We began with a discussion of the building project. I'll give a little more information. Dr. Cook reported on the receipt, as you heard, of the educational specs and the enrollment report, which has all been sent along to the state for review. One thing is that the new construction is anticipated to be a little bit larger per square foot than standard design, as we're planning for a large gym, and preschool classrooms have a larger footprint than other classrooms. We're still awaiting updates, as you heard, on any potential land. Dr. Cook reported that we'll hold a public forum on the building project at our May 25th public board meeting for more discussion. We also discussed possible energy efficiencies, including the use of solar panels and geothermals. Dr. Cook and Mr. McMinn recently met with the Mansfield Public Schools, who are building the first net zero school in Connecticut. We talked about this as something exciting to explore and potentially consider as we get more information about the long-term investment of those sorts of energy efficiencies. Dr. Cook and Mr. McMinn continue to meet regularly with Colliers and others to move along. We're still on pace with a timeline for a November 2021 referendum. However, we could do a March 2022 referendum. Fortunately, either referendum, whether November or March, would still result in the same timeframe for opening in September of 2025. So we will need to make a decision in May on when exactly that referendum will be held. We did discuss briefly among the committee concerns that if we were to have a referendum in November, that gives us a pretty short time frame between May and that period, since the quiet period for a November referendum starts in September. So we lose a lot of those times when parents and families are back to school. A March referendum would have a shorter quiet period. We also discussed if any communications with our community can begin earlier, but we're really waiting on the details to be hammered out before we start reaching out to the community, as people do have specific questions about potential building. So we'll see about that. Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be setting that date fairly soon. Then Bill, Mr. McMinn gave an update on summer facilities projects. The carport plans are complete. He's bid out for carpets and paint. As usual, the biggest goals are to continue to maintain the schools, get them ready to go and clean for the fall. In particular, he noted that he's going to really start focus on planning for the summer of 22 and around any new construction. He wants to be mindful basically of the need to maintain the schools and meet the daily operations and safety, but also not be wasteful as we anticipate major renovations to potential school buildings down the line. We also discussed how any fall 2021 reopening plans related to COVID. We're still waiting for more guidance, of course, from the CDC, but we can expect that they will not be as extensive or time consuming as they were this year. So we will look for more information. And then Dr. Cook did report on plans to apply for Connecticut school security grants. There's 2 phases of grants with about $4.5 million set aside for Connecticut public schools. One of those is for hardware. So that's door locks and fobbing systems. And the other one is for camera systems that would connect with the town. We haven't applied recently, and we do have some projects in the hopper. So we will be applying this round. Many schools may choose not to apply, increasing our chances. So we'll apply for additional cameras, hardware, and fobbing systems. Like I mentioned, the grants are due in June, and they'll update us as the plans are finalized. Art Sickle is taking the lead on the grants, and he's working closely with the town to get their support and ensuring that we have up-to-date safety plans on file with the state. As always, we do have funding in the CIP for security. And then finally, Bill presented an update on the town facilities study. This should sound familiar to you folks, which includes the recommendation of shelter locations. The town's facility group is working to come up with a recommendation for where a shelter would be located for the town, and 2 good possibilities primarily would be Polson as the best place for a shelter, with Hand as a good secondary or overflow location. There would be significant costs associated with the shelters being at the school. Bill estimated that costs for generators would be about $700,000 at Brown and $1.5 million at Polson. So at this point, we're waiting for the working group to come up with their recommendation and their plan, and then we'd bring this to the full board for input, hoping to hear from them this month. Bill will keep us posted. We meet again on May 18th, and that is the end of my report.
All right. Thank you, Emily. Does the board do any members have questions or things?
Just a very quick question, Galen, and might actually be for Craig. Does the board vote on a date for the referendum, or do we vote on a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen?
You vote on a recommended date to the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
That's a great clarification. Thank you. As Dr. Cook stated earlier, the Finance Committee that was scheduled to meet today was canceled, and our next meeting for that will be 5:30 p.m. on May 25th. Next committee to be discussed would be personnel with Dr. McNerney. Violet, do we have anything?
I think you actually skipped one. You skipped finance.
Oh, right. Well, I think finance was supposed to meet, but was canceled. So we're going to jump over.
Okay, so the policy committee will begin their NAGE, also known as the National Association of Government Employees, for contract negotiation shortly. They're the cafeteria workers. End of report.
Okay, thank you, Violet. Are there any questions or comments? Thank you. Hearing none, we'll move to policy now. Happy Marino is normally the chair. She was absent, so interested. Emily did yeoman's work today. And has a report for us.
Yep, you get to hear from me again, and that's it for me. So yes, the policy committee met this evening via Zoom. We had two fabulous guests from Danahan High School, Callie Richard and Katie, I think you pronounced her name Beaner. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, or Biner.
Minor, I think maybe.
Minor.
But I have a bad
Biner.
track of names, but I think it was Minor.
So Katie and Callie presented a presentation and a recommendation for a no shame dress code. And this was part of a civics class assignment where they surveyed and shared student voices. They shared a really excellent presentation with us. They surveyed students. They found that students who completed the survey and responded, students who identify as female reported being disproportionately impacted by the dress code. They shared anecdotes from students who had felt embarrassed, uncomfortable, degraded, or ashamed by dress code enforcements. Students reported when they were dress coded or found in violation of the dress code that this impacted their confidence. The results from their survey suggested that there might be a lack of regulation regarding how the dress code is enforced, sexism in the enforcement, with more people who identify as female being impacted, feeling shame or ridicule, especially if enforcement is done publicly, negative effects on confidence. There may also be disparities in how the dress code is enforced based on body type. So they compared Madison's current dress code to a model policy from Alameda, California's Unified School District's No Shame dress code, which is not as rigid and has much less room for any discrimination, whereas students still have freedom of expression and reasonable boundaries, but creating an environment of comfort and body confidence. The students shared how a no shame dress code could be enforced, including teacher training. So the committee, I think we did appreciate the presentation from the students, and we will further discuss this, in particular, looking at both board policy around dress code and student dress and how the dress code is described and enforced in the student handbooks. So the policy committee will continue to review this. We then did review some policies that have been recommended for removal by Shipman and Goodman. We've moved those along for first readings, and you'll be seeing those on your board packets at our next meeting. We also moved along to policies for first readings. Again, you'll see that in your next board packet with amendments and modifications. I'm going to pause there because you'll get a lot more information next time in the packets. End of report.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Emily.
Just add something to that.
Yeah.
Were we going to bring forward that one policy on the head coverings, Emily?
So we talked about that. So there was a policy, the dress, student dress policy 5090.3.1, but we discussed holding off on this to review the handbook language, especially in light of our presentation this evening. And to see if we maybe want to make any other additional adjustments. You'll recall we had a recent modification to a policy regarding the Crown Act. And so we will be making that change to the student dress as well, but not quite tonight.
The other thing that I wanted to just add is if any one of our board members have some spare time, I would encourage them to view the recording of the Personnel Committee, because that's where the presentation was, and it's very worthwhile. So I just want to encourage members, if they have the time, feel free.
Do you think we could get the two students to submit their presentation to the board so that everyone could read it?
I don't see why not. I'll certainly ask. I mean, Dr. Cook, do you have?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be willing to share. I can send that out as soon as I can get them from. The other piece, we were going to send out handbooks, so we will scan them together and send them out to the board for all the schools.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emily.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much. So our learning liaison, Katie, is absent today, so we will pass over that report. Which brings us to our first action item, number 11. And this is a motion to approve policy number 5120-4 or .4.2.5, procedures for reporting child sexual abuse and sexual assault. May I have a motion on that?
So moved.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Diane. Second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. We need a motion to adopt the AP Biology textbook entitled Campbell Biology in Focus for the AP. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Greg. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion also carries 7-0. If you have any future agenda items, please feel free to submit them to the executive committee.
Minutes.
Oh, minutes. Thank you very much. Right. Thank you. Good catch.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Well, okay. So now you've got me a little too careful. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 6th, 2021 Board of Education meeting?
So moved, Diane.
Thank you,
Still
Diane.
seconded, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. All right. Any discussion? All right. No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Motion carries. All right. Now we move to future agenda items. As always, if you have ideas, please submit them. Meetings and dates of importance are in your packet. And do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Diane. Second, Violet. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you for another very good board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Aye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.